Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Hookah Anonymous _. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines. We'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _ and follow us there. Now without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, like I said in the previous video where we covered the sentencing of OTF member Booney Mo, I don't know what it is with these guys, but it seems like they get the opportunity of a lifetime and just choose to throw it all away. Here we have it. These guys are around one of the biggest and most influential Chicago artists of our time, and yet they can't figure out a way how to capitalize off it. Even if the music isn't doing too good, at least these guys can network to a point where they could brush shoulders with certain people in certain rooms where maybe they can get into managing artists like Lil Bibby and create their own label or something outside of music, whether it's real estate, owning trucks, crypto, something. But no, these guys chose to be in the streets and go back to the same thing that God gave them the opportunity to escape. With that being said, we have OTF Boona. Now I know the names could be confusing, but not to confuse them, OTF Boona and OTF Booney Mo are two different people. I don't know who's in charge of the names, but you have OTF Boona, OTF Booney Mo, and then you have Hookah. I'll just leave that alone, man. Now, recently, OTF Boona have been hit with some serious charges that include breaking into a man's house, duct taping him, kidnapping him while taking him to a church, and shooting the man 17 times, allegedly. Now, I know this sounds like something straight out of a Netflix movie, but no. These are literally the charges that this man had been hit with. Now, we don't know where this came from or how or why law enforcement decided to charge him with this, but I guess everything will reveal itself in due time. Now, to be honest, the charges sound way too specific just for it to be a random investigation. These days, you just never know whether it could be good police work or someone cooperating behind the scenes. Now, according to court documents, Boona had been placed in police custody ever since August 2nd of this year after a warrant was put out for his arrest in July. We're going to get into the affidavit that explains more, but before we do, make sure you hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the algorithm, and if you not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it. Now, the affidavit of the criminal arrest warrant will state, quote, personally appeared the undersigned prosecutor, DM Early, who on oath says that to the best of the prosecutor's knowledge and belief, the above name accused between 7/22/2025, 1:33 a.m. and 7/22/2025, 3 a.m. at 2424 Webb Gin House Road, Snellville, Georgia 30078, Gwinnett County, did commit the offense of malice M felony in violation of OCGA 1651 and against Oscar Cruz and the laws of the state of Georgia. The facts of this affidavit for arrest and based on said accused unlawfully and with malice forethought caused the unaliving of Oscar Cruz, a human being, by bounding the victim's hands with duct tape and shooting the victim several times. Prosecutor makes the affidavit that a warrant may be issued for the accused person's arrest. Personally appeared the undersigned prosecutor DM Early, who on oath says that to the best of the prosecutor's knowledge and belief, the above name accused between 7/22/2025, 1:33 a.m. and 7/22/2025, 3 a.m. at 1577 Jim Blossom, Lawrenceville, Georgia 30045, Gwinnett County, did commit the offense of armed robbery, robbery by intimidation, 120 felony in violation of OCGA 16841 and against Oscar Cruz and the laws of the state of Georgia. The facts of the affidavit for arrest and based on said accused did with the intent to commit theft, take money, the property of Oscar Cruz, from the immediate presence of the victim by use of an offensive weapon, to wit, handgun by pointing a gun at the victim and demanding money and searching through the victim's residence and taking money and items of value. Prosecutor makes this affidavit that a warrant may be issued for the accused person's arrest. Personally appeared the undersigned prosecutor DM Early, who on oath says that to the best of the prosecutor's knowledge and belief, the above named accused between 7/22/2025, 1:33 a.m. and 7/22/2025, 3 a.m. at 1577 Jim Blossom, Lawrenceville, Georgia, 30045 Gwinnett County, did commit the offense of kidnapping, felony, in violation of OCGA 16548 and against Oscar Cruz and the laws of the state of Georgia. The facts of this affidavit for arrest are based on said accused abducted the victim without lawfully authority or warrant and against the will of the victim. Prosecutor makes this affidavit that a warrant may be issued for the accused person's arrest. Now once again, how did they know he did it? Who knows? I'm sure detectives did their own investigation, so we don't know whether it's surveillance video involved, we don't know if it's ring camera footage, we don't know if it's DNA, cell phone towers, witnesses, license plate readers, shot spotters, or cooperators. Clearly it could be a plethora of things. However, Boona is no stranger to getting caught for leaving evidence behind, because back in March of 2021, Boona was charged with a shooting that happened outside of the Cumberland Mall in Atlanta, where he was accused of shooting into a car with 3 men in a parking lot. 2 men were hit, 1 wasn't, but a child who was 6 years old was also shot in the process. Luckily, the child survived. However, Booker would be labeled a suspect after he dropped his cell phone at the crime scene, leading the crime back to him after investigators went through the social media accounts and seen that it was his phone. He must have had God on his side, because he was only charged with 4 counts of aggravated assault with intent to M, but nothing really came out of that situation too much. You would think that he would learn his lesson, or at least get out of Atlanta period after he just dodged a bullet, but here you have this situation. Now keep in mind, right now everything is still alleged and he hasn't been convicted, just charged. So we don't know for sure if he did do it or not. However, everyone is asking, what would make him do it? Who is this Oscar guy to where Boona felt the need to allegedly do what he's accused of? Many people are saying that Oscar had to have been an op, but if you ask me, I personally think it could have just been a situation of him trying to rob the plug. Simple. I'm not saying this what happened, but it doesn't seem like these two have much affiliation with each other than maybe street ties. I could be wrong, but I also found someone who seemed to have a little insight on the situation themselves, but take what they say with a grain of salt as well. One user would get on social media and say, quote, Boona owed OZ for a QP. OZ was asking around for ninjas to get his bread back. Word got back to Boona. Boona acted like he was going to pay OZ, so OZ went to meet him at Waffle House. Got in Boona's car, Boona backed him, tied his hands together, took him to OC crib, robbed it, etc., then unalived him the worst way. Now, I don't know if he was trying to say Bezu because that's what it sounded like, but it seemed like he said Bezus. Duty Low told him OZ was looking for him. OZ posted like 12 bags the night before, so Boona made his move and only left with a QP worth $1,200 and $3,000 in cash. Shaking my head. So in a nutshell, he's saying that Boona owed OZ for a quarter pound of marijuana. OZ was asking for his money back. Word got back to Boona that he was asking, so Boona decided to strike first. Acting like he was going to pay him, met up with him, took him to his home where he figured there would be a lot of product there due to a post OZ made on his Instagram showing 12 pounds the night before, only to realize that it was gone. So if this is true, Boona basically crashed out and did all of that for only a QP worth $1,200 and $3,000 in cash, totaling up to $4,200. Damn. Now I don't know how true this story is, but like I told y'all before I even read it, at the end of the day, it seemed like one of those situations where they were trying to rob the plug. Well, not they. Boona would try to rob the plug, and he came out as the loser in the situation, because as y'all know, them guys don't keep everything at their house. And even if they do, it's probably tucked, and maybe that's why he unalived them, because at the end of the day, once you do all that and they realize who you are, and they supposed to be a part of the cartel, you know at the end of the day, you just as good as gone anyway. So if you're wondering if he got any money or whether he did or not, just the fact that it might get back to the cartel, that this man took anything from one of their workers, yeah, it would have been over. Now, when it comes to this whole situation, where Lil Durk comes in the whole OTF Rico, like I mentioned in the last video covering OTF Boona, these guys are sitting here getting in trouble for all types of crime. Here Boona getting caught for unaliving somebody allegedly and kidnapping, and then you got Boona with the drugs that he's been convicted of selling in Nebraska. Then you got OTF Didi who's being charged with shooting Quando Rondo's cousin Lil Pab. Then you got OTF Boona, who was involved in that situation as well. And then you got Lil Durk, who's being accused of M for hire. So with these guys getting hit with a RICO, basically saying that they was operating as a criminal enterprise, an organization, and it was funded by Lil Durk, who was the head. With all these charges, none of this is making it better. Lil Durk has a trial coming up in October, and like I said before in the last video, how is his lawyer supposed to represent him, say that they're not running as a criminal organization when the members of OTF are getting convicted of crimes, right? Or charged, whatever you want to say. At the end of the day, he can't sit there and say that they don't have no knowledge, because these guys are in pictures, these guys are in videos, they doing songs, they're friends, you could clearly see it. So at the end of the day, that's what the jury is going to be looking at. Now, like I told y'all before, I don't wish jail or death on nobody, but at the end of the day, we don't have sympathy for ignorance, man. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what this come out to be. Y'all jump in the comments, let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm going to keep on dropping. And I'm out.